It is a game of mystery and suspense, a game in which anything can happen. For those with the heart and desire to make it happen.
Can he do it again? Yes! Are you believing this?
Through the years, there have been teams who were facing what seemed to be insurmountable odds.
Fans, if this is pulled out, it will be one of the miracles of basketball.
Yet somehow they rose to greatness and carved an unforgettable piece of NBA history.
You are watching what greatness is all about.
There have also been players who faced enormous obstacles in their path to success. Players who were doubted and often underestimated.
That is all desire and determination.
But with an unshakable faith in themselves, they managed to overcome every challenge.
What an effort! Oh, he has no fear.
And achieve their NBA dreams.
3 times is a charm, baby. 3 times a charm.
These are the stories of perseverance and will, of dedication and inspiration, of improbable victories and unlikely heroes.
I've never, ever seen anything like this. You just gotta love all of that.
They are the NBA's upsets and underdogs.
NBA history is filled with the stories of great teams and players who have lived up to some lofty expectations. But there have also been success stories that defied all expectations, and they're just as much a part of NBA lore. They're the teams and players who became some of the game's most inspiring heroes and left a legacy of upsets and underdogs. I happen to have some personal experience on this subject, having played for the 1977 Portland Trail Blazers. To some, we were huge underdogs in those NBA finals against Philadelphia. They had some of the league's top stars, players like Dr. J, George McGinnis, and Doug Collins. But we had Blazer mania, and that year we managed to surprise just about everyone, except ourselves.
The 1977 Philadelphia 76ers had one of the greatest collections of talent in NBA history. Leading this star-studded team was the legendary Dr. J.
It wasn't Julius Erving, it was Dr. J, which meant when he got on the floor, on the court, he operated on guys.
Without question, without any doubt, the absolute greatest forward that has ever put on a pair of basketball shoes.
Not only did they get Dr. J, they also had George McGinnis, who was also a very free-flowing kind of player. They had Darryl Dawkins, Dr. Duncan. So the 76ers were really like this traveling circus.
People used to get mad, and this is no lie. People used to get mad when they missed our layup line. Before the game, this is warm-up, before the games. We had dunks. You see how these guys got the dunks for halftime now and the champion slam dunks? They couldn't touch the dunks we were doing back then. We were doing some crazy things.
The 77 Portland Trail Blazers were built around one star, Bill Walton, and a supporting cast of role players, a team that embodied unselfishness and unity.
Team chemistry is what it's all about. The ability of 5 to think as one. The thing that I love so much about basketball is how fast it goes. It's like electric rock and roll music. You got all the different band members, just like you have the different players who keep going faster and faster and faster. And the coach is the conductor, and he's up there, he's trying to keep the pace, trying to keep the beat steady, and the players just keep pushing it. And that's what we had in Portland.
They also had a following of loyal fans. Though the team had never made the playoffs in their first 7 years, they inspired a frenzy of Blazer mania.
The Blazer Maniacs fell in love with that team because of the way we played. The unselfishness, the teamwork.
They'd start a collective stamping of their feet,
That 77 championship series between Portland and Philadelphia was a perfect contrast. The individualism, the showmanship of the 76ers and the quiet, reserved teamwork of the Portland Trail Blazers.
But as the series began, it seemed that the Sixers' talent would be too much.
Tip goes to McGinnis, quickly to the doctor. Well, that's one way to start a ball game. That gives you a tremendous lift, get the crowd going for you. Hollins with Lloyd free on his left. Back to Hollins from 3.
As expected, the powerful Sixers had taken control, dominating the Trailblazers. In racing out to a 2-0 lead, they appeared on the verge of blowing Portland right out of the series.
Hollins off now, Dawkins.
If they continue to perform this way, Portland is really going to have their work cut out for them.
The dejected Blazers were in need of a lift. They would get it from their devoted fans.
When we got back to Portland after being down 0-2, there was 10,000 fans at the airport. When we got off that plane and we saw the level of support, the level of commitment, there was no way that we were ever going to stop.
And they have come to their feet in Portland with their Blazers trailing 2-0.
Fueled by the home crowd, Walton would ignite the Blazers in Game 3.
Walton on the lob. Oh, he got it in! Bill Walton got it in! Twardzik and Gross on a sequence for the Blazers. Walton again, twice at the basket. I can't believe that first play.
And the play of Walton elevated his teammates as well.
Here is Walton waiting for the cutter. It's Gross.
That's the way Jack Ramsey wants them to execute.
Portland would even the series.
Block. Walton picked up by Lucas. Down to Johnny Davis. Drives the middle. Look at him go!
Though the series had turned, the Sixers still had the home court advantage.
Bill Walton always said, anybody can win at home. He said the real guys win on the road. The road is where you prove yourself as a basketball player.
In Game 5, the Blazers would carry out Ramsey's game plan to perfection as they continued their stunning comeback by dismantling the Sixers on their home court.
Davis will go to the hoop.
I thought that they dissected us pretty good. They broke us down, they found out where our weak links was, and they continued to attack us.
Gross comes top of the screen, and Walton rolled off the pick beautifully.
That's just good, intelligent basketball right there.
Returning to Portland, the Blazers had the championship within their grasp, and they weren't about to let it slip away.
Quickly down the left side, and Hollins flies off to the right. Look at the ball movement.
The Sixers still had the most spectacular highlights, but Portland's teamwork would make the difference.
The performance of the Trailblazers in the final 4 games was probably the best team basketball that I had ever been around.
Went to Gross on the pass, even though Irving was there, and Walton took it back with the jump ball.
Late in Game 6, Blazer Mania was at fever pitch, as one of the game's most dramatic upsets was now at hand.
Here we go, the inbound of McGinnis. Drive, stop, long, shoot, short, no good, and the game is over! The Portland Trailblazers have won the World Championship.
I've never coached a better player, I've never coached a better competitor, and I've never coached a better person than Bill Walton.
"22 years later, another star center named Tim Duncan would lead his San Antonio Spurs to their first NBA championship.
Around the Canby screen, goes baseline against Duncan, rejected by Tim Duncan. Backs Dudley down, double team Sprewell. Tim Duncan's jump shot spinning in.
Join me in applauding the most valuable player of the 1999 NBA Finals, Tim Duncan.
Duncan had become regarded as the game's best player, a most unlikely feat considering the way his journey began.
I wasn't really born to play this game. That wasn't my road the first time. I wasn't blessed with that at first.
Growing up a world away from the NBA spotlight in St. Croix in the Virgin Islands, a young Tim Duncan dedicated himself to the sport of swimming.
I used to swim anywhere from 5,000 meters to 8,000 meters a day, 6 days a week. I expected at some point to be in the Olympics representing the Virgin Islands.
But Tim's zest for swimming would drift away when he lost his greatest inspiration, his mother.
My mom died, so really, she was a big part of my swimming stuff, so I really lost interest in that way. just kind of found a different way to go. Started playing basketball. I started playing in 8th or 9th grade. It was just something to do. And then my brother-in-law came down and started really teaching me how to play. He took me down to some of the courts down there where it was an older brand of competition. I was 14, 15, 16 playing against 25, 30-year-olds.
Embracing his new sport with a passion, Tim soon advanced to the next stage, enrolling at Wake Forest University.
Here's the entry to Duncan. He'll spin the little right-hand hook. Is good. Duncan hits.
I'm a competitor. I wanted to go in there and mix it up with these guys and see how good I was.
Duncan, clock at 1. He got it!
Keeping a promise to his mother, Tim earned his degree while also being recognized as the nation's top player.
With the first pick in the 1997 NBA draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Tim Duncan from Wake Forest University.
So big a day for me that I had to cry a short while ago when I thought of his mother. But it brought back a lot of memory and good thoughts of what it would have been if she had been here.
Now competing at basketball's highest level, Tim would continue to blossom as he teamed up with one of the game's all-time greats.
It was definitely a blessing. It was great to end up with a team like the Spurs and a great player like David Robinson.
When I got a chance to work out with him, I was amazed at his talent. I'm like one of the best defenders around, and I couldn't really stop him, and that was a little unsettling for me, But it was great to know he had that kind of ability.
What a sequence by Robinson and Tim Duncan! Duncan, beautiful pass for Robinson.
So how you gonna play?
Cut off the middle.
Uh-huh. He's got that right mentality. He doesn't get down. He knows that, playing next to me, a lot of that pressure's off of him. He doesn't have to be Mr. Superstar every night.
The rookie taking over.
Becoming the only rookie to play in the '98 All-Star Game and the first rookie named to the All-NBA first team in 18 years, Duncan took the league by storm.
The 1997-98 Rookie of the Year, Tim Duncan.
First play, we're going to go wedge down to Tim, see what they do.
By his second season, Duncan had clearly risen to the level of superstar, and he was lifting the Spurs along with him.
Oh! Over Divac goes Duncan.
Taking this game over. Duncan cannot be stopped.
He's amazing, he's an amazing talent. He's got a great temperament about him, great confidence. That's what makes him one of the best players in the league.
In the '99 finals against New York, the Spurs would look to Tim more than ever.
I am New York right now. I get that ball out of Duncan's hands. You can't let him beat you right now.
Deep in low, easy for Tim Duncan.
He is shaking up the New York Knickerbockers.
And the story, Tim Duncan, 33 points, 16 rebounds.
Just 10 years after he began playing organized basketball, Tim Duncan would complete his remarkable journey by leading his team to the sport's greatest heights.
Got Sprewell underneath the glass. Double team. Fires at the buzzer. No! The San Antonio Spurs win their first ever NBA championship.
When you look back, I can think about where I could be. And I think I came a long way. I was going a different way. I was taking a different path, and something changed it. And to be here right now, to be in this situation, I can't ask for anything more.
While big men like Tim Duncan often dominate the NBA, the hardwood is not exclusively theirs. Smaller players have also made their mark, including Duncan's teammate, Avery Johnson. The undersized have long been underestimated, but it only fuels their desire to make it big.
When draft day came, I was really expecting to hear my name because I felt I had better statistics and just as much of a good year as some of the other guys that were getting drafted.
Battling to reach the NBA, Johnson played for 4 different teams in his first 4 years. But the 5'11" point guard never gave up. Finally, in his 3rd stint with the Spurs, Avery found a home. He became San Antonio's undisputed floor leader.
Yo, fist out 3! Fist out 3! Get out! Get out!
He is a natural
spokesman. I call him the preacher.
Johnson emerged as one of the league's top playmakers. And when the Spurs won their first NBA title in 1999, it was Avery who hit the series' clinching shot.
Elliott bluffs, drives, kicks. Avery Johnson for the lead, yes! Avery Johnson drills it from the baseline, and the Spurs have regained the lead.
The little guy sticks that dagger right toward your heart on every occasion.
I feel my story in this NBA is a story that's closer to the average American. I'm only 5'11", and I want to continue to do whatever I can to inspire people.
Players like Johnson could draw their own inspiration from some of the pioneers for NBA little men. One of them was 5'9" Calvin Murphy. Despite a stellar college career, Murphy wasn't selected until late in the second round of the 1970 NBA draft.
I had a lot of determination because of the fact that people didn't believe in me. And people had the nerve, the audacity not to believe that I was going to be a star, made me want to, of course, show the quote experts wrong.
And Calvin would proceed to do just that. During his 13 seasons with the Houston Rockets, he became one of the most explosive and fearless players in the league.
What a shot by the smallest man on the court.
Defying the long odds against shorter players, Murphy averaged over 20 points on 3 separate occasions, became an NBA All-Star, and also secured a place in history.
I definitely consider myself a pioneer for the average-sized basketball player. And if I hadn't succeeded, I think that would have thrown the average-sized basketball player back 20 years.
One player who followed the trail blazed by Murphy was 6-foot Ernie DiGregorio. Still, many were skeptical when he was selected as the 3rd overall pick in the 1973 draft.
I think there were a lot of questions about this little college phenom, but he had an amazing competitiveness and mental toughness and abounding confidence.
DiGregorio would immediately silence the doubters. Named Rookie of the Year, he led the league in assists and free throw percentage while leading the Buffalo Braves to their first playoff appearance. He would also dazzle the league with his flair for the spectacular and his uncanny passing.
It was like he had eyes in the back of his head. Teams would try to blitz him and he would just wrap it around, throw a behind the back pass so easy. Passing was a gift for him. It was easy for him. And he made everybody, not only me, he made everybody on that team that much better.
Ernie D's career would be cut short by injuries, but his impact on the league in 1974 as one of the game's most electrifying little men will always be remembered.
I'm not sure he could touch the rim. I never saw him do that. But for that year, he was dynamite.
For other smaller players, success did not come as quickly. At 5'7", 135 pounds, Spud Webb wasn't chosen until the 4th round of the '85 draft. And when he was released by the Detroit Pistons before training camp, Webb felt the impact of his underdog status.
I just didn't get the opportunity, to show my skills or go out and prove myself that I could play in the NBA.
Rather than accept defeat, Spud persevered. Just 2 days after being cut, he signed with the Atlanta Hawks and quickly showed that whatever he lacked in stature, he more than made up for with desire.
Oh, what a shot by Webb!
Oh, he's a tough little customer.
Webb's crowning moment came in the 1986 Slam Dunk Championship when he stunned everyone by advancing to the finals.
Well, Phil, you can tell I'm leaving.
Mike off the lob and Rivers!
Yes, come on now, come on!
Spud won the event in spectacular style, and his remarkable speed, skills, and leaping ability enabled him to play 11 productive NBA seasons. But perhaps his greatest legacy was proving that the ultimate underdog could still come out on top.
I think it changed the way we look at smaller guys when that year I came out and won the dunk contest and then in the actual was playing in a part of a winning team.
Webb's heroics helped set the stage for Muggsy Bogues. Standing just 5'3", Muggsy would become the shortest player in NBA history. But as he joined the Washington Bullets, who also featured the league's tallest player, it seemed Bogues would be more of an oddity than a legitimate point guard.
When I first got drafted, I thought, you know, they was really committed to me. But as the season went along, I just saw it as a novelty act, just something to sell tickets.
After a frustrating rookie season in Washington, Bogues was chosen by the Charlotte Hornets in the 1988 expansion draft. Now he would have the chance to prove that he belonged in the NBA.
Holds at the top, penetrates, goes in for the layup. It is good! Is he exciting?
Playing for a decade in Charlotte, Muggsy became the team's all-time leader in assists and steals. Along the way, he would earn the admiration of fans and players alike.
He's been told all his life that he's not going to make it, find something else, but he's determined. You know, he's a tremendous heart. He has to be 5'3" and play in the league and do as well as he does.
Bogues would continue to be a solid point guard and fan favorite during his next two stops with the Golden State Warriors and the Toronto Raptors. He would once again prove that size is no object.
I really never thought about my height. Other people see me as 5'3". I just see myself as a person and not really any height. I just play my game and just play the best way I know how.
Having played against Ernie D and Calvin Murphy, I know firsthand just how tough they were. Calvin was elected to the Basketball Hall of Fame in 1993, and at his enshrinement ceremony, he said he was carrying with him the dreams of everyone who's ever been an underdog. But it's not just the little guys who are NBA underdogs. They come in all shapes and sizes, and they come from all different backgrounds as well. One example is Scottie Pippen. He's been a 6-time NBA champion and one of the 50 greatest players in league history. But when he first started playing the game, few would have ever predicted that Scottie would become an NBA superstar.
He has become one of the NBA's most recognizable players. But Scottie Pippen worked long and hard to emerge from obscurity. He grew up as the youngest of 12 children in the tiny rural town of Hamburg, Arkansas.
Let's count of about 3,000. It's a wonderful place to live. The industry here is timber and agricultural.
And the people in this area, their life is based upon work.
Scottie would take that work ethic to heart at an early age, and he would pour his efforts into the game of basketball, spending countless hours on the court trying to improve his skills. But it seemed that no matter how much he practiced, it could not make up for what he was lacking physically.
He looked like he was all feet and hands. And his body and the basketball, a lot of times he couldn't control both of them at the same time.
Nobody wanted Scottie. That's the point people don't really understand. He was a good athlete, but he wasn't quick, he wasn't real flashy, and his frame was real skinny.
It was a challenge for me, growing up as a kid and just playing the game and seeing guys that you idolize in the game and trying to emulate what they're doing as players, and just worked hard at it.
No college offered Pippen a scholarship. The best he could do was a work-study job at Central Arkansas as equipment manager for the basketball team.
Scottie was a good manager. I mean, he worked at it, he was conscientious at it, and then, of course, when he had the opportunity, when we had the opportunity to put him on a scholarship, that made things even better. Of course, I had to find me another manager.
Scottie had earned the scholarship with his dedication and development as a player. By his junior year, he'd grown 6 inches. His talent also blossomed to the point where he became the surprise of the 1987 draft.
The Seattle Supersonics select Scott Pippen of Central Arkansas.
That's right, folks. You probably have never heard of Scottie Pippen.
I was surprised and happy. My husband was living, and he and I watched the draft on TV, and so he and I both just shedded tears of happiness.
Traded on draft day to the Chicago Bulls, Pippen was thrilled to have reached the NBA. But he struggled as a rookie, and some even questioned his toughness.
There's a rookie here. We had an ill by you today. He get treatment like this.
Even as the Bulls began to emerge as
You know, they would say, well, the Bulls lost tonight. It wasn't because Michael played bad. It was because Scotty didn't play up to his end, you know.
I ran into a lot of difficulties early on in my career. Somebody had to take the heat, and it just so happened to fall on me.
But no matter how he was viewed by the outside world, the people back in Hamburg never lost faith in him.
One of the good things about being from a small town in Arkansas, you got people that still believe in you. They don't give up on you real fast.
And Pippen would not let his supporters down. Working harder than ever, he would earn recognition as one of the game's top players and help lead Chicago to 6 championships.
Skipped across, Pippen the steal! Scotty saves it to Tony! He runs it again!
After the 1998 season, the Bulls dynasty was dismantled, and Pippen embarked on a new challenge as he joined the Houston Rockets. While he brought his trademark determination to the Rockets, Scotty could not bring them a championship. And the following season, he was traded to the Portland Trail Blazers. Joining one of the league's title contenders, he would try to add one more chapter to his remarkable story of success.
3-on-1, Pippen for Stoudemire. And the Blazers just keep coming. They're up by 13.
I've had a great career. Anyone in the NBA would love to be sitting in my position and be able to accomplish the things that I've accomplished.
Like Scottie Pippen, 3 other stars once struggled to find their place in the NBA.
Mario Elie slides along the baseline for the jam.
He played on 3 separate continents before playing a single minute in the NBA. After playing just 1 year of high school basketball, he would attend 4 different colleges in 4 years.
John Starks buries the jump shot.
A walk-on at a Division II school, he was better known for what he could do on the gridiron than on the hardwood.
If there's a better 6th man in the league, we're going to have to search hard and long to find him.
They are a trio of the NBA's ultimate survivors. 3 players who took 3 different routes to the same destination. All of them bound together by their hunger to succeed and their devotion to the game they love. Each was constantly driven by a common goal, a chance to play in the NBA, even when that goal often seemed to be well beyond their reach.
Journeyman, a CBA'er, I'm probably still the lowest draft pick in the NBA right now.
By the time he joined the Golden State Warriors, Mario Elie had spent the 5 years after college playing in 4 countries and 7 professional leagues.
I always believed, guys would laugh at me, when I'm in the park, when I was young, when it was snowing outside, tied my dog to the fence, had my gloves, shooting baskets, and I said, what's this guy doing out here? This guy ain't gonna never make it. And now I'm the talk of my neighborhood.
That neighborhood was just 5 minutes from Madison Square Garden.
Growing up in New York, got a lot of great ball players, and living and growing up in a big city like that is tough, and that's all I knew. My family's from Haiti, stuff that, it was pretty rough over there. So just my father's work ethic, rubbed off on me. So he said, if you really want something, I'll go after it and work hard, and that's what I did.
Elie out of the corner for 3, hit it! Mario Elie with a 3 with 7.1 seconds to play.
During his first 9 seasons in the NBA, Elie would play a key role on 3 championship teams.
Chemistry wins in this league, and I think I'm a chemistry guy, and I thought I was a final piece to the Rockets puzzle and also to the Spurs puzzle. So I just happened to fit in with the right places and then play with some of the greatest big men, to ever play the game.
Robinson gives it up to Elie for the win! 1/10 of a second!
We should never be afraid to fail. I failed so much, in my basketball career. Hey, if I miss a shot, I'm gonna wake up and be just fine.
At 36 years old, the 160th pick in the 1985 draft has not forgotten where he came from.
I remember you know, playing in Ireland, making close to nothing, but, you know, just the experience and just to reach my goal, that's what I wanted to do. And, you know, if this how it ends up, man, having 3 rings and having more rings than Wilt, Jerry West, so be it.
No matter what happens and what circumstances may be in front of you, is to keep focused on your dream. If I had to do it all over again, I'd do it the same way.
And John Starks always did it the hard way. After playing 1 year at Oklahoma State University, Starks was never drafted by an NBA team. He did manage to catch on with the Golden State Warriors as a free agent in 1988. The following season, however, Starks would lose his job and find a new one, this time in the CBA.
It taught me a lesson about this league, is that, you know, one day you may be in here and one day you may be out of it, and but, you know, never give up on your dreams.
Starks would get another chance, signing with the New York Knicks in 1990, and this time he was in the NBA to stay.
They say if you can do it in New York, you can do it anywhere, and that's true, because it is a pressure cooker type of place to play at. You know, every day, you know, you have to go out there and you got to perform.
And perform he did.
Starks, yes! What a move by Starks, who was able to sky to the basket.
John's emotion and energy off the bench would ignite the Knicks and earn him the NBA Sixth Man of the Year award.
I want to win at any cost. I don't care. You know, sometimes I get hated and get booed for it, but it's just about going out there and helping my team win.
He has gone from the CBA to an NBA All-Star, drawing inspiration along the way from the words of his mother.
She used to always say, son, don't ever give up on yourself. Keep going forward and don't let anyone destroy what you're trying to do. And I always keep that in the back of my mind. You know, I went through a lot of things to get to this point in my career, but it's been worthwhile.
It's all what you have inside yourself. If you believe in yourself, then trust me, you're going to do some things.
Darrell Armstrong had to believe in himself because few others did, during a 4-year basketball odyssey that took him to 3 countries and 5 leagues.
It's a blessing just to hang on. We used to travel like 11, 12 players on one van, luggage and all. Everybody sleeping on luggage, and I mean, you remember them times, 16 hours to New York from Atlanta, you know, and just remember all them great days back, you know, back in the day when, you know, you never thought that it would end up right here.
A place kicker at Fayetteville State in his native North Carolina, Armstrong seemed better suited for football than basketball and wasn't drafted for the NBA. He even had to work in a yarn factory to support himself until finally catching on with the Orlando Magic.
Stolen by Armstrong. Armstrong leads it in. He beat the buzzer. Oh, yes. He beat the buzzer.
To end this game.
Do you believe it?
Armstrong's talent and tenacity would make him a star in Orlando. And in 1999, he became the first player to be named the NBA's Sixth Man of the Year and Most Improved Player in the same season.
It was up to me how much I was wanting to get to where I was going. And my destination was, at that time, to make it to the NBA. Even though I was in the USBL, the Global Basketball League, I always had that dream of, you know, being right here where I'm at right now. And you never thought that it would end up right here. But, you know, like I say, if you don't stick with it, then you won't know what's going to happen at the end.
They are 3 players who overcame the odds, defining themselves with their perseverance and dedication, distinguishing themselves with hustle and hard work. Because they refused to accept defeat in the beginning, they triumphed in the end. And because of their faith in themselves, the dreams that once seemed so distant finally became reality.
Jumping in the air.
For Mario Elie, Darrell Armstrong, and John Starks, the legacy they leave for other underdogs who share their dream is a simple one. In the struggle for success, winning is often an achievement of the heart. In 1995, a 19-year-old named Kevin Garnett faced his own set of obstacles. A high school All-American from Chicago, he was attempting a rare leap directly to the NBA. But many questioned whether the time was right.
Do they go for Garnett, the high school player, a shot blocker, but you're saying he's still a high school player?
With the 5th pick in the 1995 NBA draft, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Kevin Garnett from Farragut Academy in Chicago.
Well, that was the cover. Ready or not? That was the big question. Why do you think you are ready for the big transition, the step from high school to the NBA?
The doubts would continue to follow Garnett as he tried to do what had not been done in 2 decades.
Kevin jumps from high school to the pros. Yes, so many people say he can't make it, he's going to fail.
Having to deal with players coming at him night in and night out when he was 19 years old, trying to show that he doesn't belong in the NBA.
It would be up to Kevin to prove that he did belong, and he would do just that.
Garnett blocks it away. Sam Mack floats inside, misses, and Garnett with a rebound. He's doing it all. Porter back to Garnett.
Kevin Garnett has just electrified this arena.
Lobbing Garnett the jam! Oh, Kevin, have mercy!
Saves it to Garnett. 2-on-1, Garnett. Oh, my goodness. High school or college, that's an NBA. Send it in.
That's what makes me strong. Knowing that there's people out there that doubt me. Knowing there's people out there that don't want to see me succeed. So, in a way, that's like a motivation.
Garnett takes it away from Elijah Wan.
It's just amazing that a 19-year-old kid be this dominating.
Garnett left no doubt that he had the skills to excel at the game's highest level. By the middle of his rookie season, he was starting for the Timberwolves. By his second season, he was an all-star. But just as impressive as his talent was the poise and character he displayed, even as a teenager.
Sometimes we treat him like he's a 10-year vet, and sometimes I almost have to stop myself and say, geez, Kevin, you're giving him way too much responsibility. Hold back. But yet, everything you give him, he wants more. We ask him to do so many things for our team.
Face guard! That's it, good, Kevin! That's it, good! That's it, good, KJ! That's it, working! That's it, good! That's it, good, KJ!
In 1997, at age 21, Garnett led Minnesota to their first ever playoff appearance. He had quickly emerged as the Timberwolves' leader with his dedication to the game and the team.
What can I bring next year? Well, what can I do to lighten stuff up on my teammates? What can I do to change the game? That's how I think.
In KG, you have a player that has an extreme amount of ability, but is the prototype team player in that he will do all the little things that are necessary in order for you to be successful.
This is Kevin Garnett's basketball game.
But while he played with the maturity of a seasoned veteran, Kevin had lost none of his youthful enthusiasm.
I've always understood when it was time to be serious, but at the same time, when it wasn't, I was me.
Thomas Harris, go this way! Get off my back! Get off me!
His charismatic personality and zest for life have helped make him one of the game's most popular players.
Thomas Harris, splash him!
But it's his passion for the game that has taken him from underdog to superstar.
It's time that you play around and you joke around, but when it's time to get serious, I have a serious mode.
19 seconds. Brandon or Garnett. Here he comes again, spinning around Camby.
Kevin Garnett. When you talk about being at your best, in the best of times, Kevin Garnett has brought his best in the fourth quarter for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Is there another level to which Kevin Garnett can climb?
Kevin Garnett faced a lot of skepticism when he was first drafted into the NBA. People just couldn't believe that some kid fresh out of high school could instantly become a star in the pros. But Garnett had at least one example to follow, because 20 years earlier, a guy I played against, Moses Malone, had done the exact same thing. Kevin also had the confidence to know that he could get it done. That's something every underdog has to have, no matter how difficult a challenge they face. And few teams have ever faced longer odds than the 1994 Denver Nuggets. They barely made the playoffs, and they were expected to get blown away by the powerful Seattle Sonics. But as history has shown, things don't always go as expected in the NBA.
Entering the '94 playoffs, Seattle had every reason to think they would easily dispatch Denver.
Sonics 63-19 during the year. The best overall record in the league, the best home record, the best road record.
Anytime you win 63 wins, you expect to win the championship.
Denver Nuggets, the youngest team in the NBA, in the playoffs for the first time in 4 years. Very little playoff experience.
And from the start, things went exactly according to plan for the Sonics.
Now here comes the Kendall Gill to Sean Kemp.
You think this ball club was ready?
The Seattle team is dominating in every phase of this game.
But the Nuggets are completely befuddled.
Denver was living down to all expectations.
Everyone in the country just knew Seattle was going to blow us out 3 games, 3 up, 3 down. We'd be out of the playoffs. We shouldn't have been there anyway.
The series was playing out just as predicted, as the Sonics completely overwhelmed the Nuggets, jumping out to a 2-0 lead. All that was left was the final victory, which now seemed inevitable.
I heard in the background, sweep, sweep, sweep. Did you hear that?
Oh, yeah. If we can go to Denver and sweep and get some rest, I think it'd be good for us.
But rest was the last thing the Sonics would get when the series moved to Denver. As they looked to complete their sweep, they found the Nuggets were not prepared to cooperate.
Now a little more of that aggressive defense in Seattle, but Robert pass dribbles right through. Over in the corner, Reggie Williams, another 3. What is going on here in Denver?
After being left for dead, the Nuggets were revitalized in Game 3.
Tenacity of this young Denver team is puzzling Seattle.
When we won that third game, I think it gave our team a lift and kind of got their attention.
They carried their newfound confidence into Game 4, frustrating the Sonics at every turn.
Mutombo comes over to swat it away. Kendall Gill, Mutombo again. The complexion of this series has turned around.
And Denver's unlikely resurgence would include a final exclamation point that evened the series.
Ellis buries the ball and buries the Sonics. The darlings of Denver, the Nuggets, walk off the floor, stretching the series to 5.
The Nuggets still faced the daunting task of beating the Sonics on their home court, but they had planted the seeds of doubt in Seattle's mind.
Denver, the 8th seed, the long shot, the youngest team in the NBA, trying to pull an incredible upset in Game 5.
Just as they had done in the first 2 games, Seattle raced to a quick lead, looking to deliver an early knockout.
Gill.
But the young Nuggets had grown up quickly and would rise to the challenge.
The Sonics sensing a little tension in this game themselves, and they're concerned.
Mutombo is not letting them get inside. A block by Mutombo is 5th of the game. Kemp gets it anyway.
Back and forth we go. This is like a heavyweight championship fight.
As the game entered its final moments, Denver was clinging to a 2-point lead. But this time, it was the Sonics who would answer the call.
Desperation time for Seattle. Short. Kendall Gill knocks it home with a half-second remaining.
Seattle had another chance in overtime, but it would be a temporary reprieve. Once again, the Nuggets would refuse to falter as they lifted the hopes of underdogs everywhere.
If Denver pulls it off, it would be measured with the biggest upset with Mutombo. Another block from Mutombo.
And this crowd stunned right now.
The historical implications of that all was just amazing. I'll never forget what we were able to do I don't know if I can ever experience anything as powerful as that moment.
That's it. Mutombo embraces the ball, and the unlikely upset, one of the great upsets in NBA playoff history.
When we won, I just grabbed the ball and I fall and start crying because I just cannot believe we won this game.
Unlike the Nuggets, the 1999 New York Knicks faced high expectations. Having added new faces to their core of stars, the Knicks entered the season with championship dreams. But a title seemed far out of reach as they stumbled out of the gate.
It's this kind of out-of-control basketball that has doomed the Knicks time and time again this year.
We were much better players than this. We knew we were a much better team. You know, just a year ago, we had been in the second round, the playoffs, and had a chance to go to Eastern Conference Finals. And here we are just kind of going backwards.
And their slide would continue as they lost one close game after another.
At the buzzer, won't go, and the Knicks a bad loss tonight.
To compound their troubles, the Knicks would lose two of their main weapons, Patrick Ewing and Latrell Sprewell, both sidelined by injuries. And they would hit rock bottom with a demoralizing loss to the league's worst team, the Chicago Bulls.
Ahead it comes to Sprewell, and he threw it away.
You got a calculator to add up all these New York turnovers?
With their worst record in years, New York barely made the playoffs as the final seed.
Going into the playoffs, we don't look at ourselves as number 8 seed. We have the same thoughts about our team as we had back in training camp of being a championship type team.
Awaiting them in the first round were their arch rivals, the Miami Heat, a team with a score to settle after being upset by the Knicks in the playoffs the previous year. And it was clear that the league's most heated rivalry would grow more intense than ever.
It was on instantly. I mean, you knew. Once we knew we were in the playoffs and we were facing Miami, I mean, there was a look in guys' eyes like, this is for real.
Here comes Sprewell, all the way. Had to change the shot and still hit it. Mashburn, blocked by Ewing.
In Game 1, the Knicks would make an immediate statement, stunning the top-seeded Heat and taking their home court advantage.
Have you seen New York play better all season?
Mentally, I think we kind of gained an edge after we won Game 1.
But suddenly, they would revert to the Knicks of earlier in the season, and the timing could not have been worse. The Heat would win 2 of the next 3 games to force a 5th and deciding game in Miami.
The Knicks blow a golden opportunity, and the Miami Heat even the series at 2 games apiece.
Just got to, come back, regroup. We definitely didn't want to go back to Miami, but we're going back. Just have to stay confident and come out to play.
Let's get ready to rumble! Let's do this.
3 years of bitter playoff battles between New York and Miami had now come down to one critical game, and it loomed as the fiercest struggle of all.
What a war we have here in Miami tonight.
It's one of those games where you knew right away that you left it all out on the floor, and if you had to play again, you'd die.
Blocked by Camby. Camby rejected the Witherspoon shot. Here comes Childs. The lob for Camby.
But late in the game, the Heat finally appeared to have turned back New York's challenge.
Lonzo Mourning, the jump hook rattles down. Miami goes up 1.
The next season and their dreams of a stirring upset would now hinge on one final shot.
Miami leads New York 77-76 and 4.5 left in the game.
Charlie Ward inbounding on the right sideline. Houston pops out up top, down the lane, running jumper off the front rim and in.
And the New York Knicks have become the second number 8 team in NBA history to knock off a number 1.
Following their amazing victory, New York would ride a wave of emotion into their second-round matchup against the Atlanta Hawks. Once again, the Knicks were the underdogs, but again they would seize home court advantage with a Game 1 victory, and they never looked back. This time, New York would need no last-second heroics as they steamrolled the Hawks in a stunningly easy 4-game sweep.
And the Knicks just pouring it on.
And the New York Knicks advance to the Eastern Conference Finals.
The confidence that we had at that point, we were obviously on a high, and I think it just really carried over into the Indiana series.
But as they faced the playoff-tested Indiana Pacers, the Knicks knew it could be their toughest battle of all.
We were underdogs once again, and we did a good job of coming out and focusing on the first game.
Johnson, good position, blocking Dale Davis off the boards. Here's Allen Houston, back to Johnson, he laid it in. Pretty pass.
That's the attitude that we pretty much took as a team, is to, hey, let's hit first, let's hit hard, and let's hit often.
As they had done in the first two series, the Knicks would take command from the start of Game 1. They grabbed a late lead, but the Pacers would have one last shot to tie it.
Looking for Jackson. Jackson has it. Forces up a three over Childs, short. The underdog New York Knicks pull off the shocker in Game 1.
In Game 2, the Pacers were determined to reestablish their supremacy, and they would build a 17-point lead in the first half. But despite their onslaught, Indiana was unable to deal a knockout blow to the resilient Knicks, who would have a chance to send the game into overtime.
2 seconds to go the length of the floor. Oh, Ewing has it for the open shot. Not tonight, Patrick.
But New York had not only lost the game, they had also lost their superstar.
There's only so much you can go, or so much you can endure. I felt something pull, and I was proud of, hurt, shocked, all the emotions.
Patrick has been the focal point and the rock of this team over the years. It's just like you going into a war, you lose one of your soldiers, but the other soldiers have to pick up.
As the Pacers looked to capitalize on Ewing's absence, the Knicks tried to fight back.
Hey, you know what? We can remind you about 50 things. You guys dig in and get a stop, a board, 5 out, get a score.
As had been their trademark, New York refused to give up. But as Game 3 entered its critical stretch, they found themselves needing yet another miracle. With control of the series hanging in the balance, the Knicks trailed by 3 points in the final seconds, and they would turn to Larry Johnson.
Inside of 10 seconds to go. Antonio is there. Johnson fires, fouled, hit it! Oh, he hit it! He hit it! He was fouled and he hit it! Larry Johnson rose up and he was fouled on the shot. He tied it in 91. It's unbelievable.
And the Knicks have defeated the Pacers.
Johnson's miraculous play would propel the Knicks to victory and catapult them to even greater heights. In Game 5, they would once again stun the Pacers on their home court to take a 3-2 lead, and they carried their momentum back to Madison Square Garden for Game 6. As they convincingly finished off the Pacers, New York had staged yet another memorable upset, and their improbable playoff saga would continue.
And NBA history has just been made. The New York Knicks are the first 8th seed to ever make the NBA Finals.
And though they would lose in the finals, the Knicks had won a lasting place in history.
In the end, the Spurs were just too much for the Knicks in the finals, but New York still had one of the most remarkable runs in NBA playoff history. They proved that when you have an entire team pulling together as one, you can overcome literally any obstacle. And the Knicks followed in the footsteps of all the other great underdogs, who each had one thing in common. They believed in themselves when no one else did. In defying all the doubters, these teams and players have provided some of the NBA's most improbable and inspirational moments. And they've given the league a rich tradition of upsets and underdogs.